In this video, we are going to be talking about how you can take your rhythm guitar playing to that next level, making sure that we're not picking up any bad habits when it comes to our song playing, chord progressions, and all that good stuff. So let's get stuck into it. Hey there guys, my name is Matt Dawson and I'm the director here at Inspire Music School. And in this lesson, we did an online stream where we were just looking at some very basic kind of rhythm principles. Now, even though these principles are really basic, you'd be surprised at how many people actually overlook this good stuff and actually don't really implement it into their own playing. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is have a look into the end of the video, because at the end of the video you're going to see some more complex rhythms and you're actually going to be able to see how everything kind of folds together and, you know, really make sure that your rhythm playing is as strong as it possibly can be. So let's get onto the video now and let's check it out. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to screen share. So I'm going to just quickly share the screen so that we can head over to the info we want to have. Okay, so you should be able to see on your screen now, you should be able to see the rhythm and strumming section, which is outlined in your book. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to go over a few basic fundamentals for how to actually perform good rhythm structure. Because obviously when we're playing a song, so say for example, if I'm sat here and I'm playing my guitar, just to give you a really kind of basic example, okay, I want to be able to more or less be able to stay in time for the entirety of a song. Remember, your songs are, generally speaking, they're going to be around 3 to 5 minutes in length, depending obviously on who's recorded the song or what artist or what style it is. There are some songs out there that are much longer. So what we want to do is we want to just observe some things that are going to keep us in time and things that are going to make sure our chord changes don't get tripped up. So if I scroll down here, I'm going to come to this first page here, quarter notes. Now, quarter notes, basically, if you look at a bar of music, which would be kind of like this little thing here, this is one bar of music, and this would be a second bar of music, okay? So what you've got here is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 quarters make the whole bar. 1, 2, 3, 4 again. 4 quarters make the whole bar. So 4 beats in a bar, and that's why we call them quarter notes, okay? So if you imagine a quarter note rhythm would just be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I put a little metronome on here, okay, not too sure how clear that's coming through, but what we've got here is I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I want to do is I want to make sure for every beat of the metronome, I'm strumming down. So I'm going to go down, 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 down. Now, that's what some people refer to as the downbeat. Okay, and the downbeat is really important to remember, because 9 times out of 10, if I'm changing chord, so if I'm playing a song and I'm changing chords from 1 down, 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 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be strumming on the downbeat as I'm going through songs. So we want to make sure that we are strumming on the downbeat in a downward motion. So kind of makes sense from that angle. Also as well, if your down strums are in time, then 9 times out of 10 your up strums are also going to be in time. Your human body actually really enjoys that whole ebb and flow to and from kind of tick-tock kind of motion. So if you imagine your heartbeat has a rhythm. When you walk, your brain computes the information as left foot, right foot, left foot, or whichever one you kind of goes first, and it kind of really enjoys that kind of the opposite of, so down, 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 and then if you were to add the up strum in there, it'd be like down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But it's, as long as you are down on the beat, then what happens is you're then able to really make sure that you're in time. So I'm going to take you through a few examples of these quarter notes, quarter note rhythms. So let's have a look at the first one here. Now you can watch this back and you can go through in your own time in your own practice when you're at home. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go C. So I've got C and I'm going to go C, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. So I've not actually added any up strums in there, okay? But what I am doing is I'm just going C, 2, metronome, that's going to sound like this. I'm going to go C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, this is really, really important because, believe it or not, sorry, Siri decided to kick in there. This is really, really important because obviously we want to make sure that those downs and those up strums are more or less always in time. Okay. If they're not in time, then your chord changes can get mucked up and everything in between. Now, if you look down here at the second line, on the second line we've got a rest. Okay, that's what this little squiggle here means. It means rest. Now, if we remember, quarter note. Okay, so we've got quarter notes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 beats in the bar, but one of them has been taken away, and we've replaced that with a rest. Now, that would mean that, you know, by that reasoning, you would go rest, 2, 3, 4. So for this first one, we're not actually going to strum at all. We're going to strum just on the 2, the 3, and the 4 beats. Okay. So let me show you what that's going to sound like. I'm going to start by just not strumming, and then I'll expand on it. So I'm going to go rest, 2, 3, 4, rest, 2, 3, 4, rest, 2, 3, 4. Now, usually, if it's a rest, that means the sound stops. Okay, so with this, what we're going to do is we're going to go rest, 2, 3, 4, mute, 2, 3, 4, mute, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm doing here is I'm using this hand to mute the strings. Okay, I'm using this hand to mute the strings. Now, if you come down to the next example, you've got 2 strums in our quarter notes. Okay. And then you've got this little dash here. Now this little dash literally just means miss 2, okay, or miss half. So in our quarter notes, remember you had 1, 2, 3, 4 beats in the bar. We've now got 1, 2, and then we've got 2 missing. We're going to miss half. We're going to miss half. So that being said, we're going to just make sure that we're strumming down on the beat. We've got this C chord again. So I'm going to go from here, and I'm just going to go down, 2, mute, mute, down, 2, mute, mute, down, 2, mute, mute, down, 2, mute, mute. Really simple, really simple. None of this is very hard at all. So as you go down this page in your book, you'll see that there's just different combinations of strumming and rests and different things like that. And you want to just kind of take it nice and steady. I've got the metronome set to about 80 beats per minute. Again, just as always, we want to make sure that we're working with the metronome. Remember, all of your songs are recorded to the metronome, so it just makes sense to practice things in the nature that they're recorded. Now, if we go down a page, or if I go to the next page along, we've got 8th notes. Now, with 8th notes, the relationship between a quarter note, a quarter, and an 8th is an 8th is half of a quarter. So we've actually got in our bars, still got 4 beats in the bar, but we've got double the amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, basically, what we're going to do there is we're going to make sure that the 1, which would be this little first marker here, the 2, which is the next one along, the 3, which is the next one along there, and the 4, which is the next one along there, they're still going to be a downbeat. We still want those to be down, because remember, you want to make sure that your downbeat, so on your guitar when you're playing certain notes, you want to make sure your downbeat is in time, because if your down is in time, then your up will more or less be in time as well. Okay, and that's really, really important. And what we want to make sure that we're doing here is in between the downbeats, now we're going to add an up strum. Okay, so that's going to sound like this. If I was to just strum that, that would be like. So if you listen, I'm still going on the beat, down. I'm still going down, 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 down. But my up strum is still in time, okay? My up strum is still in time. So we've still got 4 beats in the bar. The first, so the beat 1 is this first one here. Then you've got your up strum. Then you've got your beat 2. Then you've got your up strum. Beat 3, then up strum, and so on. Okay, so I'll just show you again. I'll take a G chord for this, and I'm just going to go. So I'm going to go down, up, down, up, down, up. I go to change chords, providing my down is still on time, that's not going to trip the fretting hand up. Okay, I want to make sure that my fretting hand is still more or less the same. Okay, and that I'm actually able to stay in. Let me just stop this screen share for a second. So if my fretting hand is in time, and I just move this out of the way so that you can see me. So if my fretting hand is in time, then my if my strumming hand is in time, then my fretting hand won't get tied up. Okay. So if I was to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now that being said, what you saw there was this hand was keeping the kind of the rhythm side of things going, and this hand, providing I know my chords, is free to pretty much do whatever it wants to do. I'm using really basic chords just to kind of give you the overview and just to make things nice and simple, because the focus on rhythm is this hand here. It's not necessarily this hand. Now what I will say is, if you're unsure about the chord, doesn't matter how good you are with this hand is always going to struggle. Okay, so in your chord lesson, we had a look at, you know, making sure that we're fully versed with, you know, certain bar chord inversions and things like that. So you want to make sure whatever song it is that you're playing and whatever chords that you're using, you want to make sure that you know what those chords are, because no matter how good your strumming hand is, if the chords aren't up to scratch, then you're going to still have a bit of a mess on your hands. Okay, so do bear that in mind. Now let's take this one step further. Okay, how are we doing for time? Yeah, we've got about halfway through. So I'm going to go back to sharing the screen. Okay, and I'm going to just go share. Now I'm going to go to the next page. You'll find this on the next page. Now you've got triplets. Now a triplet is something that's a little bit different, and it's almost like cognitively your brain doesn't like triplets, because triplets relate to the number 3. Now, say triplet. So what we've got here is we've still got 4 beats in the bar. Okay, you can see there's actually 4 of these little groups of notes here. 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again on the next one. Now, what you've actually got there is you've got, for every beat, so for every blip of the metronome, you're actually going to have 3 strums. You're going to have 3 strums, and you count them as 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. Okay, so you can see that there on the screen. You've got the 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. Okay, and the reason why we count it like that, and we don't just go like 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3 4 4 4, is because each of these beats has their own identity. Each of these beats has their own identity. You've got the 1, the 1, the and the okay? So let's say, for example, if we were playing a song and we were going, I don't know, I'd want the 1 of each beat, or the 1, the 2, the 3 and the 4 accented. So I might go 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay? And the reason why we count them as 1 and is so that you can identify those little beats in between. So if we were in a band and we were playing a song, we might go, okay, well, I want to hear a stronger strum on the and of 2. It's a way that you can identify all the little strums within that bar. Okay, so what you're noticing is that we're adding more. The notes are actually getting more stems on them. So if the first one was just like 1 little stem, and then you had double the amount of little stems, now you've got these little groups of 3 notes. Okay, now the way you strum that is you go, we're still going down on the beat, but you're going to go down, up, down. Okay, so a triplet is traditionally played as a down, up, down. Okay, which will give you, if I'm muting my strings, okay. The reason why, again, if your down strum is anchored in time, then your up strums will usually be in time as well, and it helps keep things like your chord changes. Your chord changes are going to be all right. So again, I know. But you notice there, I was strumming down on the beat on each one, and I was changing on a down strum, which is what we want. Now there are going to be times where you don't change on a down strum, okay, but you kind of want to just take it as the rule of thumb is if you're changing chords, 9 times out of 10 it's going to just fall on a down strum, unless you're getting a sort of sound. They want to have that. And there are a few examples of songs out there. Now let's just go back to the screen share. Sorry, I'm hopping you around the screens at the moment. I'm just going to go to here. Alright, so back on our screen share, what we're going to do is we're going to basically just say, we're going to go down, up, down. So 1 and then again for 2 and 2 and. So down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And that's tricky from a couple of different reasons. So the first reason why it's tricky is instinctively your brain wants to go, well, it's groups of 3, so it's anticipating a 4th beat, but it's not. There isn't a 4th beat. It's a triplet. And the other thing that's tricky about it is you're going to go down, up, down, and then you're going to want to add an up strum for the next, but you can't because you've got to go down again. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. Triplet, 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 triplet is another way that you can kind of count it in your head as you're going triplet, 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 triplet. You know, some kids go, you know, cabbages, 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 cabbages. There's loads of different things. It's got 3 syllables. That's what you want to aim for. So anywhere with 3 syllables, strawberry, 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 strawberry. But yeah, you traditionally count it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, if you look at the next example down. We'll get to that in 1 second, but you're seeing these quarter notes. But just what I'm going to do is I'm going to just throw in just some 1 anders, 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm going to go super slow with the metronome. I'm going to come out of screen share again, and I'm just going to go like this: 1 and 2 and down, up, down. So I'm not getting my downs and my ups mixed up, and for every beat of the metronome, so give that a little try when you're at home, okay? Because the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's going to take a bit of work. Because what you're going to do is you're going to find you're going to go 1 and then you're going to go up, and you can't go up. Well, you can really. You could go, and I can still get that triplet feel. But remember, the purpose of going down on the beat, like I said at the beginning, is you want to make sure your chords aren't getting tripped up. So if you get your chords, if you get your strumming direction mixed up, it's almost as bad as getting like your left and your right foot mixed up when you walk down the street. You know, you'd have an absolute nightmare on your hand if you couldn't maintain that rhythm of left, right, or right, left. So if I'm playing my songs, I'm going down. The reason why this is important is because we want to make sure that, again, if you're playing a song, your song's going to be on average 3 to 5 minutes long. We want to make sure that you're able to play the song at the beginning fairly well, and you're getting a consistent speed all the way through, and you're not speeding up or slowing down, or your chords aren't, you know, suffering too much. Now, I'm going to go back to the screen share, and we're going to have a look at the next example down. So the next example down, you've got a 1 and then you've just got 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay, super easy, super manageable. So we're going down, up, down, and then that's just down, down, down. With the metronome, that would be like this. You're going to go 1 and 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 down. The next one, you've got a 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So this next one down here, bar 5, you've got 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So you're going down, up, down, down, up, down, down, down. Let's give that a try. I'm going to go 1 and a 2 and a down, down. 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 Okay? Now as you look down that page, you've just got lots of different examples of triplets. Now the last thing I wanted to have a look at is 16th notes. Okay? Now 16th notes follow the same idea as a triplet. Okay? So they've all got their little stems on each beat. Still got 4 beats in the bar, so you've still got 4 groups of these little notes. So we're still, you know, working off that 4 beats in the bar. But you've got 1, E and A. So instead of just 1 and A, we've now added this E in there. So that's 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Now, what you're basically playing is you're playing 8th notes at double time speed. Okay, so you think about the relationship between a quarter to an 8th note is an 8th note is half of a quarter, or an 8th is half of a quarter. Half it again, you've got a 16th. So everything's getting the note value getting smaller and smaller, which means we're actually playing faster rhythms. Okay, apologies if fractions is not your strength. What we want to do though is we want to basically get the strumming for this. The strumming for this is not that hard because you're not having to worry about any sort of really tricky patterns or anything like that. You're just going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, but you've got to make sure you've got enough strums in the beat to equal a 16th note pattern. So if I'm just taking it back, so quarter would be like, then 8th, 16th, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now you'll notice there as I'm doing that, I'm still going down on the beat. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay? Now, again, important because you know. You want your chord changes to be in time, okay? And that's the most annoying thing that most guitar players face is this hand and this hand aren't working well. Now, it is a bit of a, you know, you've seen dog walkers doing this, and if you own a dog yourself, you may have experienced this. When you've got a dog that stops in a walk every 5 minutes to sniff something, and you see the owner kind of pulling the dog along, you want this hand to basically pull this hand along. So if you're playing a rhythm, I wouldn't recommend kind of going, say if my chord progression went what I wouldn't do is go G and then stop and make sure I've got my C chord and then do the strumming pattern. I want to keep this rhythm going, and I want this, because this hand is going to keep going, I want this hand to be having no option but to keep up. And that's what's going to help iron out any sort of discrepancies in your chord changes or whatever. You want to make sure that this hand is giving no option but for this hand to keep up, because given the option, this hand will stop strumming to allow this hand to get the next chord, and so on. So let's go back to the screen share. And if you look at the next one down, I've got a 1 E and A and then a 2, 3, 4. So that's going to sound like this. I'm going to go 1 E and a 2, 3, 4. 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 If you look at the third one down, you've got a down, 1 E and a da, da, 1, 2 E and a 2. If you look at the next one, you've got a 1 E and a 2 E and a down, down. 1 E and a 2 E and a down, down. Okay. So things to try. You'll find these pages in the rhythm section in your book. Things to try when you're at home. You can take a pencil and above each of those bars of music you can put chords. So let me just go back to the screen share again, sorry, bouncing in and out of screen share. You could put a C chord here, or a D chord there, or you could put a G chord there, you could put a C chord there, just in pencil. And you could do this on any of the pages. And basically, I've taken you up to 16th note. There are other pages in here, but this is like the first kind of 4 basic ones. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're doubling down on the chords that you're not so great at. So if there's a chord that you're not that great at, I'd say use that more, okay? And with this, you can then even put in, you know, a chord on a different beat. So you can put, you know, this is beat 1 here. You could put a C chord here and then put a D chord just there, okay? You could put a G chord here and a C chord there. What you'll actually find is you can come up with some quite nice tunes, okay? They won't necessarily be songs that you might recognise, certain songs that you're like, oh, that sounds like such and such. But you know, that's, you know, one of the ways that you can actually write your own songs. So it's always very, very important to make sure that you're observing a few just very, very basic key principles. So making sure that your strumming hand is not tripping up your chord hand or, you know, anything like that. You want to make sure that whatever song it is that you're playing at a consistent pace from start to finish without speeding up, slowing down, getting any sort of breaks in between the chords or anything like that. And I would always recommend as well, work on chords that you're not that great with. If you're working on chords that you're not that great with, then you'll actually improve your ability to play those chords in context, and that's the main thing that we want to think about. Playing chords in context is huge. So with that being said, thanks so much for watching. Please make sure you're hitting the like and subscribe button, and let us know in the comment section below what you've always found challenging when it comes to rhythm guitar. And until next time guys, I'll see you later. Have a good one.